What a way to finish Ruud van Nistelrooy's interim period at Manchester United. Beating Leicester 3-0 this afternoon in the Premier League. Manchester United just 4 points off top 4, and people are still laughing at me and having a go at me in all of my comment sections throughout social media. We're going to go into that in terms of critique and what we should be doing and how we should be critiquing players in this show. We're also going to talk about how RUBEN Amorim cannot start work tomorrow, apparently, from a report that's come out today, because he's still not got a work permit. Of course, we're going to go through all of the game, break it all down, go through the plus points from that game, of which there was many for Manchester United today, which is good, and it's actually nice to actually have a conversation about within a show about how Manchester United have got a very comfortable victory within the Premier League. I cannot remember the last time I was sat at Old Trafford when everything was just so calm. Everybody was just chilled out, enjoying the game. It wasn't a fantastic game, but in terms of enjoying the game, actually not sat on the edge of the seat waiting for Manchester United to capitulate. And I want to say a massive thank you and congratulate Ruud van Nistelrooy, our interim manager, for bringing the calmness to Manchester United's performances, bringing that air of normality back to Manchester United. The circus has well and truly ended. In 1-2 week period, Ruud van Nistelrooy has gone from the craziness and excuse master of Erik ten Hag type of football and dealing with that, to just making Manchester United efficient and getting us through a period that we needed to come through just to stabilise our season. And it's job done. Massive respect to Ruud. He deserved lapping up that whole applause that he got at the end of the game, going around the whole stadium, then going up to the Stretford end and just taking all of the acclaim and all of the applause from the section there in the crowd. It was brilliant to see, and you know what? Thank you, and whatever happens from here, we'll probably be talking about it throughout the week with Ruud van Nistelrooy. You deserve to be at a good club and managing at a decent level, I feel, and hopefully that happens. If he does leave Manchester United, that is. Ifs and buts, and we will see on that one as well. But yes, Man United got the win today. A big thing to come out of this is, I feel, more than anything, and what I want to start this show with today, please get all of your live comments in, as everybody as well. Get into the points that you want to talk about. We do have a poll running right now for Man of the Match that you saw. Amad Diallo, Bruno Fernandes and Nusam Mazraoui. They're your options for Man of the Match. Get in the comment section later if you are catching up and not able to vote well live. Give me your Man of the Match in that comments, in the comment section there, and obviously put your points towards why you thought that player was Man of the Match, please. Thank you, everybody. We are on the road to 62k as well, 62,000 subscribers as well, everybody. So please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's see how close we can get in this live show today. Give the video a like also, which many of you have already done. Bruno Fernandes has come out after the game in a flash interview, which happened straight after on the pitch or inside the tunnel, and has explained why Alejandro Garnacho did not celebrate the goal in his usual sort of buoyant, vigorous, upbeat sort of self way, whatever you want. And it is, in Bruno's eyes, because some fans are criticising and are not respecting the players as much. Now, this obviously brings up everything that happened with me this week, and I haven't got into it too much because I don't really see this as a massive deal. I really don't. I don't see this as a huge thing to be getting into. In terms of the players and how we critique the players, it is important. Like, I made a mistake in being in a professional environment on Thursday and acting like a fan. I'm reacting like a fan, and I have my hands up. I've held my hands up for that. I have had communication with Manchester United, just so everybody knows, and we are in communication, and obviously that has been dealt with. It's been dealt with in-house. Everything is clear on the club side of things. I've explained what I think I did wrong, and what I think... there's no sound. Is there no sound? Seriously? Is it not working? 1 second. It is working. Why is everyone saying there's no sound? I'm in full flow right now. Can anyone just confirm that they can hear me okay? I'm just seeing comments in there. I don't know if I've been sabotaged or not. Mic isn't working. Audio is cutting out. No, the audio is fine, everybody. I don't know what is going on. Sound is on. What's wrong with everyone? Sound is okay. Cutting on and off. It must be a YouTube thing because everything on my end is working out okay. Keep me updated, everyone, in the chat on that one. I'll have to... just double check your YouTube as well and refresh your pages, and I'll make sure that mine is all okay. I'm seeing a few people. 2 minutes. It's perfect. I don't understand. It might be a YouTube thing. Just like I said, double check it. Let's see, where was it now? In terms of, I was trying to explain what was happening with the Rashford situation and the critique of players right now. Garnacho obviously was affected by what happened in the week. We all know who it was. We all know who did it. We all know the video that's gone viral. Like, mine had a similar impact in a different way. I have dealt with mine in-house, spoken with the club, like I said. Everything has been explained from my side and their side also, and we are in the clear in terms of how we are going forward with everything. So no drama there at all from any sides. And when it comes to critique with players, like, look, for instance, what happened in the tunnel, Marcus Rashford does not have to let on to me. I know that. I just reacted in a way because every single player came out of that changing room buoyant, happy, and Marcus Rashford wasn't. So to highlight an issue with Marcus Rashford not being happy with United winning their first game in Europe in a year, I thought was quite important. I didn't need to say what I said. I know that, and I held my hands up about it. I think everybody could see exactly what Marcus Rashford's reaction was in walking out and how he felt and his whole sort of demeanour was, and he would have been able to pick on that probably anyway. I know that there was something wrong there, but look, the only thing you balance it out with is what happens on the pitch. And I think what Garnacho has had, and I've said this before, I've said this on shows, an incident aside from the week, I feel like Garnacho has come under severe criticism compared to other players. Let's not forget the kid is 20. He has only just broken through in the last few years. There are players within this club that deserve criticism because of the wages that they're on, the amount of years they've been failing, and they're underperforming week in, week out with the bad attitude on top of it. We all know who them players are. We don't necessarily have to pick out the obvious. I think everybody understands where we're going with this. But Garnacho has got an issue, obviously, with what happened in the week. And I think it's not just that. It's besides that. And for everyone to be putting Garnacho up there as the saviour of Manchester United, for instance, I think he's a bit harsh. And I just feel like he needs to be trusted. I think he needs to find his way. I think he needs to be given as much time as everybody else has in this side. I think it's unfair that people are putting pressure on him when he can't consistently play and get the amount of game time that other players are getting. It's not even so much game time, it's chances that I'm talking about. The amount of chances that other players are getting in this side. It's unfair on the younger players. It's unfair on Ahmad. I think it's unfair on Rasmus Højlund. They've been through the door 2 minutes compared to some of these other senior players at Manchester United, and they deserve to be given equal amount of opportunity. And this is why I wanted to go in on this. I just feel like RUBEN Amorim starting tomorrow has been shown there today on that pitch who really wants to play for Manchester United. And you know what? It's a lot of the younger players. It's the Amad Diallos. It's the Garnachos when he comes in off the bench and actually wants to make an impact. It's the energy levels when Garnacho came on. And you can talk about the stats about Garnacho. You can talk about what he's done compared to a Bruno, a Rashford, or another senior player at Manchester United, Højlund, or anything like that. And you can go into them all you want and say, look, he's got to deserve his spot in the side. Yeah, he does. He has to work his way into the side. He has to earn the manager's trust going forward. All of the above. It's just normal and natural for a player to have to do that in a football side, especially at Manchester United. But you cannot tell me that Garnacho hasn't been performing better than the other forwards in this team this year. You could argue Ahmad aside, but Garnacho definitely is better than Marcus Rashford this season. Even if you wanted to throw the stats in on it, you only have to look at how many goal contributions Garnacho's got this season. 11, by the way. 7 goals this season Garnacho's got. He's more than anyone else in this Manchester United side. And he has had some big moments as well. So if you want to try and throw the stats in there to say that you could probably play him behind Marcus Rashford, vice versa, whatever you want. The difference with Garnacho for me is he actually tries. And that's the biggest thing. It's like he wants to be there. And that may sound crazy, because you could say that every player wants to be there, Adam, but no, not in body language, not in their mentality towards that game. I watched Marcus Rashford today, and he was hacked off. He was hooked off the pitch, 57 minutes. That never happened before. And I said in my match reaction, I said, congratulations to Ruud van Nistelrooy, a man that actually sees a problem and acts on it. He doesn't give that problem a bit of time to try and sort itself out. No, he deals with it on spot and gets rid. Well, not so much gets rid, that's a bit too harsh, but he actually responds to the issue at hand and therefore makes something else happen from it. It was the right time. He gave him another 10 minutes into the second half. Marcus Rashford, he wasn't playing well. Off you come. You have to have accountability. If that was Ten Hag, Rashford would have still been on that pitch up and going into the 80-odd minute of the game. And this is the problem that we had with Ten Hag. And we always said it. He would die on that Marcus Rashford boat. He would go down with him if he kept trusting him. Marcus Rashford will succeed at Manchester United if he is dealt with the way that Ruud has dealt with him. He has to know that he cannot get away with these things. No player can get away with underperforming at Manchester United. It's not acceptable. There's always someone there to replace you. If Garnacho doesn't work, you've got Ahmad waiting around. If it's vice versa, again, if Ahmad doesn't work, Garnacho's waiting. Rashford will come in for Garnacho if Garnacho doesn't take his chance next. And then hopefully Rashford takes his opportunity going forward off the bench and starts to put that thought process into the manager's head as to like, I need to play him next week. Look at this attitude here. It's not worked previously. Like, you are replaceable. You're playing for Manchester United. And too many players in this side are walking around that pitch thinking they're untouchable. And why have they got an attitude? Well, probably because Ruud van Nistelrooy, the first manager in God knows how long, has actually looked at the situation and acted on it and gone, you know what, this isn't happening anymore. And look at the results, what we've got. Look at the calmness around Manchester United. I said it outside, I was talking to United fans. The circus has ended. There's no more craziness. There's no more sat on the edge of the seat waiting for Manchester United to completely implode anymore. It's all about Manchester United just doing things that they should be doing and getting through a group of games which we needed to win, which we have done. Look, we got through into the quarterfinals of the Carabao. They've got a good draw against Chelsea. As we've seen today, they drew with Arsenal as well, so they're a good side, Chelsea, and we could have won that game. We beat PAOK, our first game in Europe we've won in a year, and we beat Leicester today as we should do, and we've done it comfortably. And we've had some good performances and great goals. Well done to Bruno Fernandes as well on that game today. That's why I put him in there for possible man of the match. We're going to go through the other players in a minute, but just to round up on the criticism of players and everything going on, I have not criticised a Manchester United player to his face. Let's get that clear. Some people have got that image in their head and are tarnishing me with a brush that just doesn't warrant what I've done. I know that. I've not said anything. I don't boo from the stands. I don't boo players coming on and off. I don't cheer a certain player coming off. That's not me. I have backed Marcus Rashford for, God knows, 7 years. I was there banging the drum for Marcus Rashford over Martial. I thought he was a better player. I always trusted in him more than Martial. And it has just gone wrong. He hasn't taken advantage of what love he was given at Manchester United and now thinks that he is untouchable, in my opinion. Just from what I've seen. It's just my opinion on that. And I do believe the time is up right now. And this is where United have been going wrong. We've been clinging on to players like this for so long. We've only just got rid of Martial, for God's sake. This is the era now where United need change. And I think Ruud van Nistelrooy has got it off to a fantastic start. He really has. He's handled these players better than any other manager I've seen in such a short space of time as well. And it is all about players realising that they can't get away with it. Look, you can criticise players, I feel, properly. Proper critique is what's needed. If they play badly, they deserve criticism. Rashford today was bad. Bruno was okay-ish. Manuel Ugarte was outstanding today. Casemiro was good. He hasn't been good in certain other games before, and we've said he's not been good. But what you need is that consistent change and rotation of players that are not performing. That's what I think is needed at Manchester United. That's the point I'm trying to get at. Just for instance, in terms of what people see me as before, and I don't expect people to look through all of the comments and understand where I'm coming from with this, but just so you understand what we're actually dealing with. I did my vlog before, outside of the stadium. I've checked through a few of the comments to see if people agree with my thoughts on the match and how certain players played. And the first one that pops up is someone saying that not one word about Bruno Fernandes. I bet if he had a bad game, you would have been all over this. And my reply to it was, well, I left that to X. I put that on X because everyone thinks that it's all toxic on there as well. But response to that, the first comment that come up in response to that was, Adam, at United win a couple of games and you think we might get top 4. Typical thick United fan. With players like Rashford, dream on. I've not even mentioned Rashford. I'm talking about Bruno. And people make up their own stories and people make up their own things. It's like, so it's all right to critique. It's all right to slag the likes of me off in a response. But I can't give my opinion on what I think is fair and happening on the pitch. It's like people will make up their own minds about you, and then they will just look at you in the way that they want to and drive their own agenda. So when it comes to people saying we've got agendas, it's completely the opposite. I think you need to look at yourselves as well. I understand that I think I'm fair in my critique. I do. Like, if anyone wants to come up and tell me what Marcus did today that warranted him staying on the pitch, by all means, do it. I'm not even getting into what happened previously this week. It's got nothing to do with anything that happened today. And I think Van Nistelrooy handled it absolutely superbly. And congratulations for him on this interim period for dealing with everything that's going on and steadying the ship that Manchester United, the Manchester United ship, sorry. And we're now on a decent trajectory. That's it. So you've got to look at everything that's happened in this period now for Rude, I feel, harness it, and then pick out the best bits going forward. And that's what Ruben Amorim needs to do going into his time. Like we said, like Chris Wheeler has just come out earlier on, just to switch this across. I'm going to come to the comment section in a moment as well. So get all of your comments ready in there. Chris Wheeler has said that Manchester United's new head coach, Ruben Amorim, cannot start work immediately tomorrow, Monday the 11th, because he has not got a work permit yet. Whether that hampers what he can do in and around the club, maybe he can put some wheels in motion on certain things that he needs to. I don't know. We'll see what a work permit affecting situation does, but no drama. We know that it's still happening. We know it's international break, and I'm sure everything will be rectified throughout the week. But for anyone expecting any instant sort of news tomorrow or ways that we are going forward, I just feel like we have to maybe wait a little bit. I think that's it. And I just feel like right now, going off that news from what Chris Wheeler has said, that it may be just a couple of days in, because Ruud van Nistelrooy has also spoken after the game, and he says he expects to be told what's happening in the next couple of days. So I think it's going to be a very busy week on the news side of things for us in gathering what's happening with Ruud, when Amorim is going to be in, when the press conference is going to be, when that first press conference of him speaking to the British media is going to be, because that's a big one like we discussed earlier on today. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the week. Now that United are dealing with the football matters, I think that's important. But I want to get into the game, actually. So let's get into a few comments, first of all, from that opening section of the show and just see where everyone is at. There's loads of comments flying in. I can see loads of people making their points clear. MB Creator, let's start there. Amorim's system doesn't have wingers, so we'll see if Nacho has the desire to play for United when he's asked to play wing back. Nacho's a good prospect, but has always shown issues with his ego. I don't think he's shown too much issues with ego yet. I think he's got the right type of attitude to handle Manchester United pressure. And like I said, I was listening to the Garnacho sort of criticism on the radio, and they were talking about what happened outside Old Trafford on Thursday, and they were saying, look, he's going to have to grow thicker skin as well in all of this. The critique is going to keep on coming. Yeah, you don't expect it when you're walking in and you get ambushed by a fan outside the stadium right before a game. You're not expecting that as a player, I'm guessing. I'm pretty certain no player would expect that walking into a stadium to play. But still, your criticism is going to keep on coming. Don't expect this. And this is like a warning to Garnacho a little bit as well. Whereas I do love the guy, it's like it's only going to get worse. The better you get and the more senior you become at the football club, it's only so long that, like I said, look, he's still only 20. He's only just turned 20. He's still young. He's only a couple of years in. He's getting better and better. So right now it's good for him. I don't think he deserves the critique he's getting for what we're relying on him to do, to be honest. There's other players that deserve more. But still, you're going to have to be ready for it, Garnacho, I feel, because it is going to come, and it is going to come a lot more. If you went to Real Madrid, for instance, I mean, if you're there, you wouldn't survive. You wouldn't survive. You've got fans there throwing things and banging on, smacking mirrors on players' cars as they leave the training ground. You're not going to get this all happy, let's sign the shin pads and the boots for everything outside of Carrington. If you end up moving to Real Madrid, then that skin is going to have to be rhino thick, because you're not going to get away with coming out and saying you don't feel like you're getting much love off the fans. Right now, you can say that, and I totally agree with him. Like, he's too young. He's an academy player that's just come through, and he's really into his full second season. He did come through the season before under Ten Hag in his first season, but not as much as what he's playing now. So really, I look at him now as turning into a senior player, probably going into like the next couple of years, and people are going to keep expecting you to get better and better and better. And I think he's on the right trajectory right now and doesn't deserve the critique that he's getting. That's just how I see it. But look, as a young player, and Mainu's going to go through the same. Ahmad is only 22. He's probably going to go through the same when he has an off spell. But I just feel like people just need to channel it a little bit better when it comes to critique for some of the younger players compared to the others. I mean, if we're comparing Garnacho and Marcus Rashford, I mean, how many chances has Rashford had? He is protected by this club more than any other player. We all know it. People don't like to say it. They tried to make it look like it's fair and it's balanced amongst all of the players. But you can clearly see with players that have fallen out and leaving this football club and issues that other players have had with their agents talking, and then clubs that have bought off Manchester United talking about that player, that something was wrong and has been wrong in Manchester United. And hopefully Ineos can rinse the club of that demon and start moving forward and giving a fair crack of the whip to these younger players. For me, Garnacho and Ahmad need to be starting the next game. It's as simple as that. They probably won't because of international duty and Garnacho getting back from South America late, and Rashford just walks into the side because he's not playing international football and he's there at Carrington training. I'm not saying that in any sort of particular slanted way towards Marcus. I just feel like that is what's going to happen, and Garnacho will have to find his way back into the team again. But it's going to be interesting when Amorim comes in, because that's it now for international football after this one. It's done. And it's non-stop football all the way through, up until Christmas, into the new year. And then I think it's the end of February. We've got, in February, sort of March time, we've got the next international. So a good 3 months solid of Premier League football, non-stop, 2 games a week. So we are going to need to see rotation there. So I feel like these players will get their opportunities even more. Right, so into the game itself as well. Actually, no, I was going to do a few more comments, wasn't it? We spoke about standards yesterday, Adam. Time for Rashford to understand United standards. Yes, Devon says Tagore attitude is absolutely shocking. It just reminds me of Martial on the big wages. I'm not sure who that is, actually. Ghana Ahmad are a defender's nightmare, says Liam. Yeah, they just make you think all of the time. Ahmad, yes, Højlund has had his time and he's non-existent. Garnacho was poor again. 1 goal shouldn't make you forget everything else. Forget what, Stretford Reds? Everything else what? Like, he wasn't poor when he came on. He brought in so much more energy. And what he was better than Marcus. So if you're going to put them both together and say who is better right now, you're taking the lesser evil, even if you want to bring it down to that. He wasn't poor at all. He was not poor. Hi, Adam. Yes, we have been better recently, but we are still not a 90-minute team. We play okay for one half and worse the next. It has to be sorted. Very true, Philip. We do have to be more consistent for a 90 minutes. That is important. Another thing I learned, Bruno Fernandes played really badly. His goal hides the fact. Fumbled all our counter-attacks. Misplaced passes. Typically incompetent, careless performance. He scored a goal. He was involved in the second one. And when it came to counter-attack, the best counter-attack of the game was Garnacho's goal. And yes, with 4 players around him, made the right choice and set Garnacho up for the goal. So Bruno was involved in all 3 goals. And people still want to slaughter him. And this is what I mean by critique. You cannot win, can you? If I say something good about a player, people will always find an issue with it. If you say something bad about a player, people will find an issue with it. People have their own opinions of players. It's totally fair. Everyone should say what they want about a player. This is what good football debate is about. I just feel like people are making too many excuses for some players. Look, everyone knows that I've slagged Bruno Fernandes off. I love him. I think he's been poor in times. But I'm not going to say that he was absolutely horrendous today. He had a good game today for me. He definitely had a good game. One player who had an awesome game was Manuel Ugarte. And you know what? again, for the people that were slagging me off for not mentioning Bruno or certain other players in my match reaction outside of Old Trafford, I wanted to give some airtime to the unsung heroes at the moment, and that's why I mentioned Matthijs de Ligt. I thought he was outstanding today again. I think he has been very good consistently now for a number of weeks, and I just feel like he's not getting the acclaim. He's not getting what he deserves, and he should be getting more, I feel. But again, he's not standing out. He's not this sort of like flamboyant world-class player all of a sudden, is he? It's all, for me, just aimed at the big-name players. And everybody criticising the big ones that they want to. I get it, because we have seen a lot of it. We've seen an awful lot of these players before. And fans are fed up of the inconsistencies. I get it with Bruno. I get it with Rashford. I get it with some other players as well. It's time for change. And this is what this whole debate is all coming down to. I think this new age of player needs to be brought in now. And they need to be the ones that Amorim works with. I hope they get given the same amount of time and chances as the other players do. We have a massive list of players that clearly needed to go, hoping to get the problem people away from the youth before it's too late. Interesting to see Garnacho develop under Amorim. Yes, you got Rose with that super chat. Thank you. It will be interesting to see how every single player is going to react and what Ruben Amorim can get out of them. It's not just these younger players. It's like, for instance, Casemiro or De Ligt, like I've just been talking about. No one's talking about them or having an issue with them at the moment because they're making steady 6 and 7 out of 10 performances every single game right now. And yes, the opposition isn't the best, but still, when you've got that, it just calms everything. There's not much to critique or talk about in terms of them, and I feel like we're finding issues. It's like the comment that came in then, like, I don't know how people could look at what Garnacho did off the bench as any negative at all. His energy was twice as much as what Marcus Rashford's was. He was taking more risks than Marcus, and so was Ahmad, and he scored a fantastic goal. He blazed one over the bar as well. He got his sighter. You could say that was wasteful, yes, but then he found his touch, and he made the same attempt again, which is brave, because you can sort of fall into your shell a little bit once you've missed one. Like Sir Matt Busby always says, never be afraid to miss. And that's what I feel Garnacho and Ahmad have right now. I think they have that young enthusiasm. They've got no bad habits. They've not played in poor teams consistently year in, year out. They're just breaking through. And they've got that raw youth talent, haven't they? Where you could just carry on trying all of these different things, and you get away with it a little bit. But Garnacho right now is just coming into that area where he's getting a little bit more critique. It will happen with Ahmad. Just because Ahmad's not been playing, I think that's why he's not been getting the critique that the likes of Garnacho and Rashford are getting, and Højlund's getting, and Xerxes getting. He's come back into the side and he's playing well and he's proving his worth right now. But there'll be a time when Ahmad falls off a little bit, and we'll see what happens there with him. Well, I feel like Garnacho, where I do agree, like I said at the start of the show, that he does need to he needs to grow thick skin. I said in terms of agreeing with him, it's about him getting overly criticised, I feel. But still, I think we've got enough talent for Ruben Amorim to work with. And I've been slagged off for thinking we can make top 4. Again, like, why? I'm watching everybody else and no one is really impressing right now at all. And if United have been this bad and are only 4 points off third place in the league, then we are still clearly in it, aren't we? Yep, we are. And the goals have gone. The negative goal difference has gone. You can see the table at the bottom of the screen. It's time to celebrate. We're nearly back in the black. Back in Black, KCDC, great song. Anthony Wisdom says, there is no big deal with constructive criticism. If you play poorly, you are allowed to state that. If you play well, you will receive the praise. It's the way football has been. Yes, it is. It is. Director of Football, Bruno's selection under Erik ten Hag made it worse for him. Today's performance was average, showing you how low his level of usual performance actually is. Good first goal, completely missed the second attempt. Still there, got his foot on it. And don't forget the assist and the way he controlled the situation for Garnacho's goal as well. I think a lot of people are forgetting about that when it comes to Bruno's performance today. And like I said, he's not tearing it up. I think he played all right today. And I don't want to like blow smoke completely up his ass, but I want to be balanced and say, like, when something does happen in a game, you bring it up, you point it out. There are positives there within his game as well. You cannot get blood out of a stone. That will be Amorim brief for Marcus Rashford. Boxing Straight Talk. It's all going to boil down to recruitment for Amorim. We have to get recruitment right at this time. Otherwise, this will just be a never-ending cycle. You all know I'm not a Bruno fan, and one game versus a very poor Leicester team doesn't mean he's anywhere near back. But United Spotlight, I feel what he wants to say in that was he didn't think he was that bad. I'm not putting words in your mouth, mate, but I get what you're saying. One game does not make a man. It does not make a performance, and it doesn't deserve praise and praise and praise. It deserves the right bit of praise, and then let's see it again. Let's see some consistency. Let's see if you can make us praise you even more. Delict's best centre-back in the league with Martinez, says Amir. Ginge, Anana man of the match, kept us in it. Leicester were by far the better side. Are you serious, Ginge, when you say that? Leicester were atrocious. They were absolutely atrocious. How can you say that? Anana had one save to make the whole game. No, I can't agree with that one. Trevor Wade, Adam Hoyland needs to be a subject talked about. Offers nothing up front whatsoever. Too many excuses for him. He's not even a focal point up front. Everything breaks down through him. There needs to be, we need to talk about Hoyland. There needs to be some form of conversation about him because he isn't performing right now. He is struggling big time. Whether you take him out or not, that's a different subject altogether. I don't know which way you go with him is the answer. I don't. I want him to get better. I don't know if consistently playing him with an ever-changing forward line next to him is going to work. I would like him to have players he knows their attributes of and how they play. I want him to build up a partnership with someone, but I feel it's all going to change again. It's all going to change again as soon as Amorim comes in. So I think the last chance for Hoyland is to see how he adapts to Amorim. I think this is a big opportunity for a lot of these players going forward. So, yeah, let's just see how they adapt when Amorim is in, and let's see if any of them change, really. That's what we've got to look at. But that is it for this evening. Just wanted to do a quick fire breakdown show. Quick, fast, break it all in. I think we've all got our opinions on certain players. So please do drop your comments in. I'm going to go get some food and try and chill out for the rest of the evening. It has been a busy one today. So thank you all for joining us on the show. Make sure that you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well. Make sure that you click the like button on the way out. And I will see you bright and early for the Monday updates. Hopefully, we'll have plenty of news on Ruben Amorim and what is happening going forward. But until then, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for all the comments and love and likes. And I'll see you all tomorrow.